guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to do a quick review of my latest Michael Kors handbag, and that is my Michael Kors Tonne Hobo. And this bag is a pricey one. I searched online and found it for either retail price of $7.95 or $9.95, and I'm not sure which it is, but either way, this is a very expensive Michael Kors handbag from the Michael Kors collection. And that is the top of the line Michael Kors bags. It definitely shows. The quality of this handbag is excellent. The materials are excellent. I absolutely adore it. I will say, I think for a retail price like that, I would probably pass on it. It's a little bit pricey for me. I think the quality is great, but I don't know if it's quite that great. If I had to pay for this bag, I would pay somewhere around $300, but y'all know I'm cheap, so that's just my opinion. And when I looked around online, it was sold at a lot of the higher end department stores like Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks, but it was pretty much sold out everywhere. So I think this is an older style. Where I did find some was on resale sites like eBay and Poshmark. So if after you watch this video you're super into this bag, I would go check some resale sites and see if you can find one for a much better price than retail price. So I just want to tell you about my experience carrying this bag. I recently went on a girls trip with 3 of my best friends, and we went away for Mother's Day weekend. Yes, I escaped from my children for Mother's Day, and it was glorious, and we went to wineries, and we all wore really pretty sundresses, and it was such a beautiful and warm day. And so I had a beautiful sundress on with like tons of flowers and ivory sandals, and I carried this bag. And all of my girlfriends were so into this bag. They thought it looked so great in that setting, kind of like casual but nice. And I feel like it could translate both in a casual world and also in kind of a cocktail, like nice attire, also business. It just has that really classy look to it that I feel like would go with every occasion, which is why I love my other Michael Kors collection bag, the Scorpios bag. So I feel like this is a great investment if you can find one for a price that tickles your fancy. So let me go over some of the features. Obviously, the most striking thing about this bag is the super shiny gold hardware. This is some serious hardware. It is very solid, very heavy, and very shiny. What I will say about it is it scratches super easily. If that bothers you, just be aware that it is going to probably scratch even if you're super careful, especially on areas like this where there is a lot of rubbing going on between 2 hardware pieces, so just keep that in mind. The other thing that obviously stands out about this bag is this magnificent strap, which is 2 ends are the gold hardware, like super solid and heavy. Then you have all of this rubber, not rubber, hello Nicole, leather that's twisted around. And I will say I was a little bit anxious about this strap. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I actually really ended up loving it because since it is loosely twisted, when you put it on your shoulder, it does conform to your shoulder, and it's pretty darn comfortable, surprisingly. And because of the thickness, it really stays on your shoulder pretty well. So I was happy with the strap. What you will also see on the strap here and on these zipper pulls here is this material, which in my unboxing I was super confused by. But once I did research on the bag and realized what it was, it seems so obvious. Of course, it's snakeskin. It is a snakeskin detail that is on the straps and on the zipper pulls. And I think part of the reason why I was so confused by it when I opened the bag is because it was very light in color. I think it was super dry. So I put some conditioner on it, which darkened it up, and you could really see the texture of the snakeskin. Then after I conditioned this bag, I sprayed the heck out of it. Because it is such a light color, I'm so worried about color transfer getting on this bag. So just be aware, if you do get this bag in this color, I would recommend spraying it. I know it's pebbled leather, it's more durable than like a vachetta leather, but it probably will get color transfer on it at some point because it is so light. So I made sure I sprayed it before I went on my trip. Speaking of the leather being pebbled, this leather is like butter. It is so soft, so smushy, so high quality. It is a calfskin leather. you can see all of this beautiful veining that it has in addition to the pebbling. I just think the texture of this leather is so nice. Now, I will say, and I'm going to show you in a minute when I take the stuffing out, because it is so buttery and supple, it does not hold any structure at all. So it's not the type of bag that's going to look great when you sit it down, especially because you have this super heavy strap with all of this hardware. As soon as you sit this bag down, it wants to become a smush puddle, and it wants to become an extra smush puddle because of this heavy strap that weighs it down. So this is really a bag that looks great on the shoulder, and it looks great hanging up somewhere. Not so great sitting down on a table, and I wouldn't recommend that anyways because it doesn't have any feet on it. So, and because it is a light color, I would be concerned that it might pick something up from whatever surface that you set it on. Before I show you the leather texture, I just want to point out quickly that these two zippers down the front are not only a really beautiful detail, that continue on with this gold idea, they also are two functional pockets that are layered one on top of the other so that you can use them separately. And I will say they're not super generous, but they're great for things like your car keys, hand sanitizer, little mints, something that you want to grab and go easily and not get lost in the bag itself. And I'll show you, the bag itself does not have much organization to it, so it is nice that they give you those pockets on the front. The inside of the bag has just a zip pocket on the back, and you can see there's even more gold inside. Just when you thought that you had enough, there's more. And then you have two slip pockets on the other side. So you can see most of the bag is just a big sack where you can put your stuff, and there's not much organization or pockets available, so it's nice they give you this. The inside is this gorgeous kind of like a silk that has a nice sheen to it, and it's like a bronzy color that is just gorgeous with this ivory and gold. Looks really, really, really expensive if you ask me. So, and no wonder with a retail price like that. But let me just show you how this bag looks when you, yeah, it's just it's not a good sit on a table bag because it just wants to be smush puddle. You guys know I love smush puddle bags, so I find that endearing. But if you're somebody who really likes structure, that's gonna annoy the heck out of you. So just be aware. Now, I meant to measure the strap drop before I took the stuffing out, but I forgot. So let's measure it now. It is about 7.5 inches. Now, what I want to say is, yes, okay, that's not a very generous strap drop, but when you put stuff in it, it kind of changes the bag a little bit, and I'm going to show you what I mean. I brought up the bag that I'm carrying today, which is my Dooney & Bourke small Florentine satchel in the color aqua. And I'm going to take everything out of it that's in there and put it in here so I can show you how the bag changes. I have a full-size wallet. I will say this opening for a full-size wallet, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's not the most generous. It's not the most easy to see in here because this bag kind of gathers to be more narrow at the top. It's just the nature of the beast. Then I have a pouch, I have an umbrella, I have another tiny pouch, and I have a big old sunglasses case. And when you put all this in here and snap it, it's just a snap closure, there's no zipper, something else to be aware of for those of you who like zippers. It gets this saggy hobo thing going on, which is kind of nice because it gives you more space here. So let's see what we've gained. Now we're at a 9-inch strap drop, which is pretty good. You can swing your elbow through. It's a little on the short side, but you can do it. And if you're wearing just something cotton, like a cotton t-shirt or a nice lightweight top, it's perfectly fine as far as the strap drop. We'll say for a big bulky sweater or a coat in the winter, this might be a little bit tricky. I don't know if this would work, but I think it's a great spring and summer and even fall bag. So I will say the cons to this bag, if I had to point out some cons, are the lack of structure. If that's something that annoys you, that would be a con. It doesn't really sit on its own. It looks like this with my stuff in it. It's not very attractive, but when you put it on, it looks great. So that's just one con I would mention. The other con I would mention is this thing is heavy. It is really a heavy bag. And I think it is because of all of this great hardware that looks so awesome. It's heavy stuff. It's really heavy, high quality hardware. And even these, just the zipper pulls themselves are super heavy. So if having a heavy bag really bothers you, I would skip this one. It is probably as heavy as this bag. And I know lots of ladies who cannot carry small or medium Florentine satchels because they're too heavy. And I would say that this is very similar in weight. So it's something else to keep in mind. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today for this review. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. I will put any links I can find to these Tonne bags on eBay below so that you guys can see the selection that's out there. I will say I have seen these bags with silver hardware as well. If you like silver better, there is silver hardware Tonne bags out there. But for me, what makes this bag spectacular is the gold hardware. And I'm not really one to pick one over the other. I like them both equally, but for this bag, for some reason, it has to be gold for me. The silver just doesn't do it for me. But I'm gonna put some links below so you can see what I'm talking about as far as the gold versus silver hardware. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I hope I will see you for my next video. Bye.